Hey guys, it's Chris from Crafty Creations. I am on Michelle's page today doing a live for her. I know she's away, so she was very gracious to ask me to come on to do a live. So I'll wait for some people to come in. What I'm thinking about doing today is I'm going to try something different, completely brand new. I'm going to try to make an apple tree. All right, so it's in my head here. I just don't know if it's going to transpire. So say hi as you come in. See a few people coming on. Hope everyone's doing good. Hi, Donna. Going live today. Hopefully Michelle's having fun wherever she's at. So let a few more people come in. Let's see. Hi, Joan. We got Ruth. Hi, Ruth. Hi, Doris. Hi, Tina. All right. So people are coming in. So like I said, today I'm going to do something on a whim. I'm usually like really organized and prepared, but I thought of this last night. So we're going to see if it transpires. It's going to be an apple tree. And then I have a cute little sign that says teaching is a work of heart, and it has apples. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to the overhead camera, go through the supplies, how we're going to set up our boards and all that fun stuff. I've also listed in the, I think in the description on Michelle's page, all of the supplies and stuff. Okay. So let me go ahead and switch my camera over. Make sure I have my overhead view here. All right. All right. So for the base of this, okay, this is going to be the base of our tree here. We are going to be using the small board as well as a rectangle board. Okay. Let me get this up here. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the rectangle board and I'm going to use row D. Okay. And I am going to put that right like that. Okay, so here's our number one up here. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to be zip tying this. Okay, and you can see I already have one prepared, so you don't have to see me put in a million zip ties. But so you're going to be on row D on the rectangle board here. And you're just going to line that up. And you're going to put your zip tie in. So we're going to add a zip tie here. Okay. Hi, Judy. You did awesome yesterday. All right, so you're going to put one there. And then you're going to put another set of zip ties here. Okay. And that's just going to hold your base together for you. Let's do that. My hands never want to work when I need them to. All right, and there we go with that. All right, so that'll be your base. Okay, so we're going to do the trunk of the tree here, and then we're going to make our tree up here. All right, so I'm going to put that aside. So that's what it's going to look like on the back, guys. Okay, so now for our holes, basically what we're going to be doing on the trunk down here, okay, this bottom row, we're going to be putting zip ties in the two outer holes, okay, to the outside of the board. And then we're basically using every set of regular holes, okay? So we're going to do 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, and 3, okay? On your outer rows, you're basically using every regular and shared hole. You're going to put a zip tie in, okay? On row 2, you're again using every single set of holes, okay? On row 3, you're using every set of holes, but when you get towards here, because you can't really get a zip tie through this hole, so instead of going from here to here, I just went from there to there, okay? So that's the only row that's a little bit funky, is that row 3. Okay, and then row 4, you're going to be using every set of holes again. So you're just basically filling the entire board with zip ties. Okay. All right, so let's see if this transpires here. So for the trunk, what I'm going to do is I have two different types of mesh. Okay, so I have a like a dark brown chocolate faux jute, and then I have a poly burlap. So you can use like a plain natural poly burlap, or this is like a brown and natural burlap. If Unique in the Creek does not have this particular poly burlap, you can get it on Craft Outlet. Okay. So I use two different colors and two different materials. So for the bottom here, I'm thinking we're going to do kind of like a, I don't even know what that petal's called, but you're going to put your square in a diamond. You're going to cut these, whatever your mesh is, either 10.5 or 10. So make it into a square. You're going to take your top point. You're going to bring it, no, we're going to do it this way. Bring it to your middle. Bring your bottom point to your middle. Okay. And then we're just going to fold it over like this. So it kind of looks like an envelope. And I'm just going to turn it here and I'm just going to scrunch it. Okay. So it's about a 4-inch. Okay. So I'm just going to scrunch that. And then I'm just going to cut this little end off because we don't need it. And I'm going to put an elastic on here. Okay. Is that Charlotte? Yeah, I can't wait to see it either because I have no idea how this is going to come out. So bear with me, guys. All right. So that's going to be the first type of petal we're going to do. And I have two of those made because I didn't want to bore you guys with making petals. So my idea is I want to kind of make this like the trunk of the base. So I kind of put it like this first and that looked weird. So what I'm actually going to be doing is putting it in the opposite way. Okay. So I'm actually putting it so that our elastic and the nub part is actually down. Okay. Like that. And then I'm just going to pull it tight. Okay. And I'm going to cut the zip tie so you can kind of see what I'm planning on doing here. So I have another one. So I have two of those and I'm just going to, again, turn it upside down. So these are in those two bottom holes that go to the outside of the board. Okay. And my thought is I'm going to bend these down like this. And I'm going to put a zip tie in the middle here in the two center holes. So I'm hoping that that will kind of make it so that it looks like the trunk of a tree a little bit. So you're going through the mesh and then down these center holes here. And that should hold it in place. And I apologize, my fingers do not want to work today. I think they're still on vacation. All right, let's get that back up through there. Just want to kind of make it so it goes through even here. Okay. Sorry about that. It should not have taken that long, but it did. All right, so I'm going to do that. Just like that. And I think what I'm going to do, just to kind of hold this down in place, I think I'm going to put another one on the side here, just to kind of hold that down as well. So I'm going to go through that outer hole and then kind of up through here, just to kind of see if I can hold it in place just a little bit better. Let's do this. And I'm going to come up through here. Just trying to make sure I don't get my head in the way on you guys. Okay. Just, yeah, so that just kind of holds that down, I think, a little bit better for us. So you could probably, if you want, wait to put that first zip tie in so that you only have one. Just kind of fold your mesh down and then put in your zip tie. So this way you don't have too much bulk down the bottom here. And it's just going right up through the mesh. All right. Okay, so that's the start of it. Okay, so then what I'm thinking of doing, and I kind of have a little cheat sheet here that I mapped out in my head. We're going to take, the rest of this is pretty much going to be Star Trek petals for the tree part, and the base, we're going to make these just the little square petals. So for the rest of the trunk of the tree, we're going to be making same type of thing, just smaller, like little squares. So you're going to take your 10 by 10 square. You're going to fold your top to the middle, your bottom to the middle. And this time we're going to do another fold. So we're going to fold the bottom down, the bottom up to the top, and the top to the middle here. So that's what it's going to look like. And then we're going to flip it over. And again, we're going to make like a 4-inch petal here. So you're just going to kind of bring it in. And again, we're going to cut this piece off because we don't need it. And then we're going to put an elastic around it. So this is going to be the petal for our trunk. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to alternate between this dark brown and this color petal. Okay. So let's see. So let's do, so I'm going to put my center ones in first. I want to do my center ones. Yeah, I'm going to put my center ones in first. So I'm going to take one of my light browns here, and I'm going to put that in like this. And then what I think I'm going to do is put dark browns on either side of it. Okay, so we have our 3 that we're using. And I'll put a dark brown on this side here. Okay. Let's see if I like that better. Oh, I like that better. So I'm going to actually do my center ones first, and that will just kind of lay it on top here. Okay. I think I just knocked all my stuff down. All right. So the next row, I'm going to put my center one in first. I'm going to do my center one first. No, I'm not going to do my center one first. Let's do that there. We'll just do our center one first. We can manipulate them after. And then I'm going to do, let's do the kind of the multi-textured one here, the poly burlap on either side of it. I'm going to see what I like. I think I like the middle one on top. So I'll do the 2 outer ones first. And I'm just going to alternate again. Okay. You can use all one color if you want. I don't know if anyone has ever seen me do them. I just like to use different colors, different textures. But you could probably just use all one color if you wanted for the trunk. Okay. And then we're going to put our center one in here. So again, this is just for the trunk. Okay. Kind of seeing what this looks like here. All right. I'm going to just kind of keep alternating here. I'll do these on this side. I kind of have petals all over the place here, but hopefully I did enough. Put this in the middle. Okay, getting there. So we have one more row here to do. I'm going to have dark brown on the outers. And hopefully this will look like a tree trunk when I'm finished here. Maybe once we get the leaves and stuff on. Okay, let's see here. Make sure. I think I'm going to do, I think we have one more. I'm going to put one right in the middle here. Oh, no, I think that's it. Let's see. 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, I think we're good. All right. So this will be kind of the start of the base of our tree here. Okay. And then we're going to be filling it now with our other petals. I have one extra, so don't know where that goes, but all right. So let's get our green petals together. So for this, we're going to be doing the Star Trek petal. Okay. So for this, I have, again, you could use all one color. I tend just to like to use a lot of different things, different textures, different colors. So for this outer, I was thinking of doing, let's see, I'm going to do on this outer one a poly burlap. It's like a moss green. Okay. So it's like this color here. Okay. And again, I put the numbers in there under the supplies, so you'll see which ones they are. So the Star Trek petal, if you haven't made a Star Trek petal, okay, you're just basically going to cut a 10 by 10 square. And you don't have to wood burn this because you're not going to see any of the edges. Okay. So we're going to cut a square. And then for the Star Trek petal, you're going to put it in your diamond shape again. You're going to take your top point all the way down to your bottom. Okay. And then just kind of smoosh it out. You're going to bring this right corner over to the left. Okay. And it just looks like a little Star Trek there. All right. I'm going to turn it. I'm going to pinch the middle. And then what I do is I bring up my edges and then I kind of push them down to where I squeezed it and then just bring in my edges. Okay. And you could do one of two things. You can use a zip tie or an elastic. All right. So again, you don't need this little edge here. So what I do is I end up just cutting that off. It makes a little bit of a mess, but it's not bad. And then you're going to take your elastic and just put your elastic on it. Okay, and that's what your Star Trek petal is going to look like. So all of your basic petals now for the top part of the tree are all going to be Star Trek petals no matter what type of mesh you use, okay? So this right here is the poly burlap, okay? So for this outer row, I'm using, it's called like a moss green is what I'm using for this outer one. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to alternate poly burlap and then I'm going to be using fabric mesh. So I have like a moss green and I also have, it's like an olive green. So they're two different colors. So hopefully you could see this. So I think by using different colors, it just gives the tree a little bit different dimension. Okay, so what you're going to do is you can start right up top here. All right, so where our number 1 is in this top, I'm going to put a dark green here. This is the moss one. The fabric mesh is going to go right in the top there. Okay. And then I'm just going to basically alternate fabric with poly burlap. Okay. And I'm just going to do this and go all the way around. So now my next fabric one, I'm going to use the other color. Okay, so I did the moss green there, the poly burlap, and now I'm going to do an olive green fabric. Okay, and then I'm going to go back to my poly burlap. And now I'm going to go back to that darker, that moss green fabric. So this is your pattern all the way around, and you're just alternating between poly burlap and fabric, and then I'm also alternating the fabric colors. And that's just to kind of give it, you know, no leaf is exactly the same color, so I'm just trying to give it a little bit of, you know, dimension to it. So now we're going to go to the olive color here. And hopefully I counted right, because I try to just kind of whip out and pre-make the petals. And we're going to do this all the way around here. And then once we go all the way around with them, we'll cut all the zip ties and whatnot. I just want to kind of get all these in for you. And generally when I use the Star Trek, I'm like, I try to make sure like everything's perfect, but with a tree, I'm thinking it's not perfect. So I'm not going crazy trying to make everything perfect. And then I'm just going to keep going all the way around. If you have everything prepped, it goes pretty quick. And I want to say I did the counts and stuff for you. So on this outer row, you're going to be needing 16 poly burlap. Okay. And you're going to be needing 8 fabric of the one color green and 8 of the other fabric. Okay. So you're going to have 16 fabric altogether and 16 poly burlap. So if you wanted to just use, you know, 2 different colors instead of 3 different colors, you would just use 16 fabric instead of 8 and 8. Okay. And we're getting almost halfway here. So this is going to come down over here and kind of go right over where our trunk is. Hopefully it'll look like a tree when we're done. And again, I'm just alternating here. Poly burlap. There we go. Let's see, who's asking? Yes, Carol, I'm using all the holes, normal and shared, except for that one spot. And I'll show it to you again on row 3 there where zip tie got stuck. Where you can't, because we combine the boards, you can't get a zip tie through that. So I kind of just had to go a little bit further and use a different hole. That's all. And I'll show you that when we get to that part, which is up there. All right, we're getting there. Okay. Yes, I'm hoping it's going to be a tree. Hoping. Usually, sometimes in my mind, it doesn't come out exactly how I'm envisioning it, but we're going to try it and see. If not, we attempted it, right? And I'm just going around, poly burlap fabric. And like I said, I'm just alternating and using different colors. So you could use any colors you want. If you wanted to do like more of a fall tree, you could use browns and oranges and like the mustard yellowy colors. That would look really cute too. I had these apples and stuff, and I said, oh, let me see if I can do something with these. Almost there. Just kind of all the way around here. I'm just putting these in and just zip tying them up. I'm not going crazy about them being, you know, totally perfect or anything. Let's see here. Some more of these over here. What do we have next here? So I need a, let's see. I think I might have dropped some, but let's see what we got. It's a different color. Let's see. I must have dropped some. What I'm going to do, let me just look under my desk quick, guys. Here's another one. I think this is a little bit of a different color, but I'm not sure where my other one went. So I'm just going to use this one for right now. And if I find the other one, I'll stick it in there. All right. So then we have one more and then one more poly burlap here. Okay. So there's what we have thus far. I'm going to just kind of take all these zip ties off. Cut them all off. Thank God for the zip tie gun here. All right. I'm getting there. Gotta get back into crafting mode. I just got back from Daytona Beach. My husband took me for a weekend for my birthday. It was so nice. Now I'm back in Connecticut. All right. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull the fabric mesh. I'm just going to pull it forward a little bit. Like I said, just to kind of give it maybe a little bit more dimension because leaves don't always just lie flat. Okay. So for the outer row, we have 16 poly burlap and we have 8 of the olive green and we have 8 of the moss green fabric mesh. So now we're going to go to row 2. Okay. We're going to start up here again. So this time we're going to use 12 of a eucalyptus green and then we're going to use 12 of the fabric mesh. So we're going to be using 6 and 6. And then I had gotten these little green, I don't even know what they're called. Let's see, privet bundles. It's a Privet. And they're just like little leaves, okay? I think I got these from Craft Outlet, but you could use any type of leaf that you want to add to it. So what I did was I took, throw that up there. I took, on our fabric mesh, I put one of those and put an elastic on the back of it. So for this one, for every fabric mesh that we do, it's going to have some leaves on it. Okay. So again, I'm going to start on row 2 in this center one right up here. I'm going to start with a poly burlap. Okay. I'm just going to turn it sideways just so that I can pull the zip tie here. Okay. So I'm going to put our first poly burlap. And then again, I'm going to do the same pattern that I did around here. Okay, so I'm going to do a fabric mesh and it's going to be the olive color. Okay, so I'm going to put that right next to it, and it's going to have the little leaves that stick out the back of it. Okay, and then again, I'm going to do a poly burlap. And I'm going to do, let's see, where's I have that other different green fabric, which I'm going to put there. And again, that is on the back of it. And as I do this, I think I'm going to keep the fabric mesh forward a little bit, and it just kind of gives it a little pop here. So I don't know if you could see on the side there. I might try that and see how that works. And then I'm going to do another poly burlap. So basically we're using every regular hole and shared holes, and I'm just alternating between poly and fabric. And like I said, you can use whatever colors you want. If you want to just use one solid color, you can. I always say make it your own. This is just what's in my head. God only knows what lives up there. So my next one I'm going to do is this olive. And again, you're just going to stick a little branch on the back of it. I used little elastics to kind of keep it in place. And then I'm going to do another poly burlap. I think it's looking like a tree. So it's starting to look like a tree. So Shirley, how many rolls of mesh? So that's one of the reasons why I like to use different color meshes, because I don't have to use the whole roll. So most rolls of mesh, you get about 36 10 by 10 squares. So we are using, and I wrote this down. So for the poly burlap for all 3 rows, we're only using 34 pieces of 10 by 10 mesh. So you're really, you're doing 16 on the first row, 12, and then 8. So if you're mixing up the colors, you're only using half a roll, if that, for each of the colors. So you can use the other colors for, another project. And the same with the fabric. You only need 44 pieces of fabric mesh. So if you're using 2 different colors, you're only using 22. So that's less than a little bit more than a half a roll. So you can use that for other projects. So let's see. I am in Wallingford, Connecticut, Tracy. Good old Wally world. And this color I did was the eucalyptus on the second row for the poly burlap. So I basically used those 2 standard colors for the fabric, and then I just kind of switched up the poly burlap for each row. I bet it would look really cute with fall colors too, using like the rusts and the browns and the oranges. I bet that would look really cute too. But I didn't know how it was going to come out, so I figured let me do this one first and see if it actually works. And again, on this second row here, every fabric mesh is going to have a little piece of greenery behind it, and you can use any type of greenery if you have a favorite greenery. I just thought like this looked like tree leaves to me, so that's why I kind of picked this from my supply stash. Let's see, I'm doing olive green next. Fabric. And again, I'm just kind of pulling the fabric mesh forward a little bit just to kind of give it some dimension. Almost done with row 2. So it's really probably just prepping is going to be the most. You're making a lot of Star Trek petals here. But once you kind of start doing them and get into the swing of them, they probably go by pretty quick. to just kind of turn this way. And you don't have to use the greenery if you don't, the greenery if you don't want to. I just thought maybe it would just kind of make it look more, more realistic like a tree, but you don't have to. Okay, let's see. This color. And then I'm going to do another one of these. And then let's see, I'm going to do olive green next. No more poly burlap. I think I lost one, so let me just cut one of these real quick. I don't know where I would have lost it or I miscounted, either or. So give me 1 second, guys. Sorry about that. I'm just going to make a quick Star Trek petal here. So it's a pretty easy petal to make too, and you don't have to worry about wood burning everything, because I usually do like to wood burn all my, poly burlap when I make my other stuff. But with this one, it's nice because you really don't need to. I'm just going to use a little zip tie here. And there we go. And we're just going to cut that little end off there. All right. This is going to go in here. So it starts to get a little tight as you kind of get toward the end there. And then I have one more to put in. And we are going to do, it's going to be this darker green here. Okay. So row 2 is done. All right, I'll turn it this way for you. So it's kind of starting to look like a tree, I think. Let me clip all these off. And now I envisioned for this next row, trying to incorporate some apples. So let's see if this is going to work out. All right, so for row 2, just to kind of recap, you're using 12 poly burlap. You're using 6 of each of the colors of fabric mesh, or 12 of just one color. Okay. Let's get all these off. Let's see. The greenery Wreath is called, let me look at the name of it again here. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Privet, Privet. And I got that from Craft Outlet. I don't know if Lori has anything similar to this on her site. I haven't looked at the florals she has. And I know she's been, looking to get some more florals in her shop. So you can always check Lori's first. But this is called Privet. And let's see. All right, so row 2 is done. So row 3, what I did was I just want to get this over here. I used window pane poly burlap. Let me show you this. Okay. And again, I used this only because I was looking for similar colors to what I was using. So you could use, like I said, any type of colors you want. This is the only poly burlap I had similar to the olive and the moss colors. So I figured, let me give that a shot, and it worked fine. So what I did for this is I have, I put these apples, I think I found these at Joann Fabrics here in Connecticut. And they're just fall picks, and they're just little apples. Okay. They came in individual picks. So I picked up some of these, and I was like, what am I going to do with them? So I said, well, let's give it a shot. Okay. So I'm going to do, for this row, I'm going to be doing 6 poly burlap with an apple behind it, okay? And then I'm going to be using 8 of the fabric, okay? I'm using 4 and 4. So 4 of an olive green and 4 of like that moss green. So the same 2 fabric colors I've been using, I'm going to be alternating those again. So let me just see where I'm thinking I wanted to put this one. So row 3, let's start at our top again here. So row 3 in this shared hold one here, I'm going to put one of these, the poly burlap with the apple, okay? And I'm just going to kind of turn it so that it's just kind of facing like that. Okay, we just kind of have our stem there like that. And then I'm going to do one of our, the darker green, and I put some greenery on the back. So again, the fabric ones, I added that little greenery to the back of it, okay? And then for this one, I'm actually putting 2 fabric petals next to each other. So I'm doing a dark green and a moss green, okay? So the moss and the olive green together. And I'm doing that because of the way the poly burlap would have been with the apples. They looked like too crunched together when I kind of did a quick, like a quick demo of it. Let me, zip tie's stuck here. There we go. Okay. So we got our 2. So we have a poly burlap. We've got 2 fabrics, and now we're going to do a poly burlap again. And I'm going to do the yellow apple this time. So we have 1 poly, 2 fabric, 1 poly so far, starting at that middle point. Okay, and now I'm going to go back to a fabric. And again, I'm kind of keeping the fabric ones more forward than the poly burlap ones. Okay. That. And then I'm going to do another, let's see, poly burlap with a red apple. You can see I was kind of like trying to do it so they were going to be symmetrical and not too smushed together. So this is the part where, I think I did it too tight. If we look on the back, this is where we're kind of overlapping that one. So I could not get a zip tie into these holes, okay? You might be able to manipulate them underneath there if you can, but if you can't, just bypass it and use this hole on the rectangle board, okay? So use that one and that one. And this is going to be a fabric one. So I may have to redo that though, because I think I pulled the zip tie by accident. Let's see if I can get it down underneath there. May have to redo that one. Let's see. Yeah, I'm just going to clip this real quick and just put another zip tie. I accidentally pulled it and it like flattened it to the board. I'm just going to rerun this one here. Hopefully I didn't do the same to the other one, but. Okay, so I'm going to put our fabric one in here. Again, that has the greenery on the back. So on row 3, the poly burlap will have the apples, and then the fabric will have the greenery. Just want to tighten that down a little bit. Let's see. There we go. Okay, and now we're back to the poly burlap again. I'm going to do a yellow apple. the apples are behind your petal, okay? And I just kind of put a little elastic band on them, that's all. Figuring that would help hold it in place. And again, I'm just kind of pulling the fabric ones forward as I go here. And then we have this one. And again, this is that other one that's kind of that elongated one. And go back to our poly burlap. And this is going to be the red apple. Hopefully this is looking like a tree, guys. Okay, and then we're going to do another fabric. Let's see this color. And then another poly burlap with a yellow apple. And then we're going to end up with the 2 fabric mesh again, like we did when we first started. So we are going to have that one. I swear I must have lost mesh somewhere. I just don't know where I lost it. I'll look under my thing here quick. Here's one. All right, so we're going to do that one there. And then we have one more of our plain fabric. There we go. All right, so I'm just pulling my fabric ones forward a little bit here. Okay, I'm going to clip all these. So recap of row 3, we have 6 poly burlap with an apple behind it. And then I have 8 fabric mesh, 4 and 4. And each of those has greenery behind it. And then what I did was just kind of pulled my fabric mesh in front of or on top of the poly burlap, just to kind of give it some dimension here. Okay, that's what we have so far. A little apple tree. All right, so now for row 4, I'm going to be doing just fabric mesh. And I'm going to be doing 4 Star Trek petals of each. And I'm going to be adding 4 apple picks to 4 of those. And then 4 greenery picks to the other ones. Okay. So I'm always going to start. It's just easier for me to remember where I'm going is when I turn it straight here. So row 4, I'm going right up top here to start. So I'm just going to turn this. So let's see, we're going to do a greenery one in here. So I want to try to alternate it so the apples are kind of in between these apples. So I'm going to start with just the greenery. I'm going to clip these, I think, as I go. And then I'm going to do one with an apple. Okay. And I add, oh, you know what? I think I added greenery to all of these. Yeah, I just put greenery on all of these. So for row 4, you can put greenery on the back of all of them because I think I wanted to give it more like a leafy feel. And then just add an apple to 4 of them. Okay. But it's all fabric mesh. And you're using every set of holes on row 4. Okay. And I'm going to clip the zip ties as I go here. And then I'm going to do a greenery. And the greenery and the apples are on the back side of the petals, not the front of them. And then I'm going to switch it off and do a yellow apple. Forgot that zip tie there. Hope it's easy enough to follow along and I'm not confusing anybody too much. Like I said, it's kind of like what's in my head, so I'm kind of going with it. I just don't know what's going to transpire. And then we're going to do just a greenery again. Yes, Nancy, I'm sure. I think Michelle has a YouTube, and I'll ask her if I can post it on my YouTube channel as well and my page, but I'll ask her when she gets back, because I'm kind of filling in for her on her page, so I'm not quite sure. I don't want to make anybody mad because I want to be able to come back, but I'll find out for you. All right, so now we need another apple, so let's go with our red. And then we have 2 more to do here. So we need one with just, I lost it. How I lost one. All right, let me do one more Star Trek petal here because I lost another one. So this is gonna be the fabric mesh. I'm just gonna cut a piece here. Fabric mesh is 10.5. So I'm just cutting it to go into 10.5 here. Just have to make a Star Trek petal. Good thing I kept all my supplies near me. I'm just making that quick Star Trek petal. Okay, let me just put my zip tie on here. All right. And then I'm going to cut the little piece off and then add my little greenery to the back of it. So I just kind of take my little piece of greenery there and just put a little elastic on it. Just like that. Easy peasy. All right. Now I'm going to put that in, and then we have one more apple to put on. And then we can prep our sign and see how this is looking. All right. And then we have our last apple, which is yellow. Put that down in there. All right, let's see here. All right. And these are nice because you can kind of move them kind of wherever you want them to go. All right. So that's what I'm thinking for my apple tree. And then there might be a different way to do the base here. I'm not sure. So I might have to play around with that if it doesn't really look like a tree trunk. But and then I found, like, I have this sign that I had gotten on Unique in the Creek. So what I did is I just put my cable mounts on the back here. Okay, I used the E6000 and then I used that 3M auto tape. And then I just put a little bit of hot glue over that because I find that the hot glue with the heat melts and then the sign just falls off. So between the 3 of those, it should stay on. And then just put your pipe cleaner through it. And then we're just going to put this through our center holes, okay? And this is always the fun part. Like, you can see them and you go to try to feed it in and then it doesn't want to go through. And there's one. I'll just get the other side in here. Yeah. There. Is it going? Nope. It's like you could see it. It's right there. There it is. Okay. So I'm just going to kind of wiggle my sign down here so I don't wreck any of the apples. Like I said, this is what's nice is you can kind of move those apples around. And then I'm just going to kind of pull that sign tight. Just like that. I'm going to just turn it over. Just going to give that sign a little bit more of a tug. And do that. Just twist it. And then I'm going to stick those back through the center holes there. And then I just put a little hanger on here. So the hanger holes that you have on the top of your board, I just put like a thicker zip tie through that. And that'll be your hanger. All right. And let's see. Does it look like an apple tree, guys? All right. So what I'll do is I'll take a picture on my front door in the natural light and stuff so we could see what it really looks like, you know, when it's hanging up or whatnot. All the supplies, like I said, should be listed in the description. Feel free to message me if you have any questions of where I got anything. Like I said, apples I got from Joanne Fabrics. And it's a fall thing, so they should probably still have them out. I got these last year. Sign is unique in the creek. Mesh is unique in the creek. If you cannot get this light brown and the dark brown, they do have that at Craft Outlet, but check Lori's site first because she usually has a pretty good variety of mesh. And then those little privet florals I had gotten from Craft Outlet, but I know Lori's getting more stuff in. And basically it's the Star Trek petal all the way around for the top. And this is just that little square type petal for the bottom. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope I did Michelle proud. Hopefully she has a good time wherever she's at. And I hope to see you guys soon. Have a great day, you guys. Thanks again for joining me. Bye-bye.